Hello, how are you? This is Jilly Bling, and I'm so excited to show you this project. Isn't that just pretty? But wait, it goes into an envelope, just like that. So here it is again. Isn't that fun? So I kept last night, you know how you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom? And I was like, oh, I just can't wait for it to be morning to show you this project. I love this project. Translucent Florals, beautiful stamp set. It's in the holiday mini catalog, so you can order it now, and 3 days, there's free shipping. And this is an Avid Stampers grouping of 3 different cards. So if you order the bundle, Translucent Florals Bundle through me, on or before October 16th, I would love to send you these next 3 videos, the 3 card kits. And this is one of them. And the other 2 should be just as good. And if you can, use host code. It's right here. And also it's on my blog, right up at the top, and my blog is jillybling.com. Okay, so you ready to make this project? I'm so excited to show it to you. I hope you love it as much as I do. I know you can't, like I could see it beautifully there, but right here. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, so we'll be using Translucent Florals Bundle, and then also nested essential dies, and that's for the dies to cut these words, and then also the dies to cut this right here. And I'm going to try to remember to stamp this up a little bit higher. Okay, let's do it. I could stay close. So I have a pile of stuff to show you. What is that? That is a lint collector. You're like, why are you showing me that? You can get it on Amazon. There's all kinds of them. I think this snaps into place. There it goes. Lint collector is good for stamp pads. I'll show you a bad example of why you need to do this. So I just got done doing it, but you run this over your stamp pad to get any lint or glitter or any embossing powders, anything off of it that doesn't belong there. You're like, well, why would you do that? Some people like to use baby wipes to clean their stamps, and that's really convenient. That's great. But baby wipes leave alone a little, like little fibers. And this is my kind of trash paper. So if ever you're stamping, particularly with this stamp set or any of the distinctive stamp sets, they're real realistic looking. If ever you have an image that looks like this one here, or this one here, it's one of 2 things. Either you have lint on your pad or your stamp set has a little bit too much ink on it. And to get the ink off, you can take an old bone folder or a credit card, just run it across the top. It will leave a ridge of ink over here, which you could push back on later. But this area right here will then be perfect for stamping distinctive stamps. And they will look more like this without these heavy freckles in them. So I did that on my stamp pads, and I still had all these little spots. So when I looked at it up close, it was like, I need to pull out my lint remover, and it works much better now. So just a note, what do they call that? PSA? PSA. Oh, we'll be using this beautiful ribbon. Did you notice the ribbon? Isn't that pretty? It's translucent. It's very sheer. My favorite, Sparkle Gems. Adhesive back Sparkle Gems. Can't seem to get enough of these. Okay, and here I say the paper sizes. I'll put all these paper cut sizes on my blog. And also I'll have the score lines to make the box, the base. So I'll be using that. I'm going to keep this out for scoring. Oh, I have a template. That's okay. These are pieces. Here's my little template. Pieces. Oh, and the paper. You're like, where's that paper from? I will show you. That is holiday paper. It's called Joy of Christmas. Look at that big sheet of paper. And on the back is a wintry scene with holly and berries and flowers. And I'll list all the products we use too on my blog and also in the description. Okay, so to do the stand, let's do some scoring. And as I score, I'll read off the score measurements, but I'll read them off first. At 1, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, 5 1/2, 7 1/4, 8 1/4, and 10. And this paper, this black paper is cut to 4 1/4 by 11. There's 7 score lines. Hold on. Roomba always comes on at the wrong times. Okay, so let's get to scoring. And you could use whatever colors. I was trying to go more toward fall colors, so that's why I chose Blackberry Bliss and Coral. I was thinking maybe pumpkin pie, but I like coral. And then crushed curry. Okay, so let's get to scoring. We're going to score at 1. Where can I put this? Just so we can all see it. I'm going to score at 1. Two 3/4. 3 3/4. 5 1/2. 7 1/4. 8 1/4. And if you choose to get this bundle through me and I'm sending you card kits, this will already be done for you, so you don't have to write it down or worry about it. It will come all scored. Woohoo! Okay, and then for this little slot right here, I'm going to use dies. And these are, what are those dies? Oh, the Nested Essential dies. Nested Essential dies, I'm using the rectangles. And we'll be using 3 rectangles today. One, 2, 3. I like 3, and that's because one of them is going to cut out the slit, so it looks like this. And see how these words are a little bit smaller? These are just a little bit bigger. So it's large, medium, medium, small. Okay, so to get the slit in there, we're going to use the large die. And I have to admit, I made my slit just a little bit bigger because when I was putting the flowers on the card, everything, see how it's a bit of a column? Everything has to fit through the slit. And I had flowers and stuff sticking out, so I had to stretch it just a little bit. Okay, so fold this in half. Oh, we need this mask. Okay, and then, now that that's folded in half, there's all the score lines on there. I'll take this and I'm trying to line up the top of the paper with the edge of the die. And I just want just the edge of it to cut. So here it is, just like that. And cut it on the fold. I admit that on this one, by accident, I cut it right here and I'm like, oh, the pieces came apart. I must have scored that really well. But those little slits down here, they don't do me any good. So this is going to make the box. The base, so I'm going to do soft folds at this point. Just fold it over and then use my bone folder to confirm the fold. Fold it over, and I'm just, before I confirm the fold, I'm making sure that the paper is perfectly lined up, because if I scored a little crooked, and like see how that's kind of sticking out, that wouldn't be good. That would make the whole card look crooked. I love how this, it's kind of 3D looking, and it folds up perfectly in your envelope. Okay, are we done? That's it. So this is the box. And I'll show you generally and then we'll get to making it. So looking at the box, here's the slit, and I'm going to have the paper attached right on here, and it's going to go through there. Then I'll put glue all over this and attach those. So in advance, I did the rectangles. So this one, I probably should stamp them first. So let's stamp them. Then we'll build this. So on the front, I love this. Wishing you all the happiness in the world and a little flower. I kind of wish I did a little higher so there'd be more room for the flower. So I'm going to try that this time around. And maybe this time I'll do a blackberry bliss flower rather than the calypso coral. Just to shake it up a little bit. Memento for the words. This is going to go on the little one. I'm going to test it. It's a little bit heavy. I just re-inked this pad. Okay, that's better. Good, good, good. Love it when things work out. Okay, and then I'm going to do little flower, which is this one, and this bud thing, and leaves, and a mask. Okay, so my flower, I think it still has coral on it. Whoops. And I go and change things all up. Okay. Oh, and the colors, the ink pads to pull out are Memento, Calypso Coral, Blackberry Bliss, Crushed Curry, Smoky Slate. And you know, I love the color Blackberry Bliss. But I'll tell you, there's something about me and Blackberry that every time I use it, I get it everywhere. And it is transferring onto my paper. It's just stamping with it. It's challenging. Let me check how this works. Yeah, this one I scooched all the ink to one side. Overnight it must have absorbed. Pretty. Success. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that amazing? Okay, and now the stem. Oh, the stem. Okay, so when you have your stem, it's just a tiny stamp. Where's that box? Right here. And it's kind of like the, someone told me this, S-E-P-A-L, sepal. It's the flower holder. You notice how I did a little surgery on it? See how the bottom is cut off? So it has such a big border around it. And I put it in black and I tried to line it up. And time after time after time, I got it wrong. Like on this one here, I tried to line it up. Well, it's good to practice. See, now that one is up too high. Other times it was too low. So eventually, I just took my snips and I cut it so that I know where I cut it. The edge of the stamped image is right there at the edge. So you could do that if you want. Do it at your own risk, but it seems to be helping me. See, now I'm all nervous. Well, and it's intended to be a little bit big for this flower, so you could hardly tell, and I'm going to put the gray over it, so I'm good with it. I wish it was just twisted a little bit more, but not enough to do it over again. Okay, so that's good. So next we need some leaves. Leaves are in gray. And are you thinking, who has gray leaves? But look how pretty it makes this card a little bit monochromatic. So all you really see is the flowers. And yes, there's beautiful leaves back there. But they take like a back seat and let the flowers shine. And I really like that. Okay, so holding my mask here, I'll tell you about this in a minute. If I were to ink this and stamp it right over the top, I would cover up part of the flower. Therefore, a mask is in order. This is a mask made from a sticky. I just stamped the flower on a sticky, cut it out, and this mask is going to protect my flower from getting leaf ink on it. And because I didn't push really hard, there's a bit of a white border around this, and I'm not going to worry about that. It kind of makes the flowers stand out just a little bit stronger. So if you wanted, you could push harder, but then you might not get such a crisp, beautiful leaf image. Okay, so that one is done. What do you think about the Blackberry Bliss versus the Coral? I think it has a really different look. This is much cooler. Because the colors are all very similar, I think it's a little bit calmer. But I think for the front of the card, maybe the Coral is the best way to go. But whatever you like. Okay, so that's done. Let's do the back. So the back, I'm going to remember to stamp higher because it's kind of buried. So it's pretty much the same process. So 3 flowers, 2 leaves, and happy birthday. So what do I have here? Smoky Slate, that's after. I'll do happy birthday. Happy birthday. We all need birthday cards, right? Yeah, I couldn't wait to get over here to show you this project. I love this one. And I even came in here because Bo wanted to go out first thing, like after, well, whatever. I was up, just waiting for him to get back in. It keeps on being really heavy on that one side. Oh, that's bad. And what did I do? I came into here and I was loving on this card. That's okay. Maybe I need to spread the ink a little bit better on that pad. Okay, so now for the flowers. The flowers, maybe I'll do Coral for the center. That's what I did back here. No, I'll do it opposite. Coral for the center and Blackberry Bliss on the sides. So I have to wash that little stamp again. This is kind of dry. Kind of dry. Well, I have another one. It's not dry anymore. Isn't it amazing how much these little chamois hold liquid? I mean, that was that much water. Gotta refill it. Oh, and spritzer. This is a really old bottle. If you have the spritzer, smells delightful. But you could dilute this stuff. Like if you have a bottle, you need this much concentrate and the rest of it is water. A little bit goes a long way. Oh, that's good for cleaning. Oh yeah. Okay, so what do we decide? Coral first. Coral flower first. And then 2 Blackberry Bliss flowers. I got my chamois really wet. Where's my shirt? Here, don't tell my mom. I just got dirty. Test it. Ooh, a little heavy. Maybe I shouldn't push so hard. Still, okay, I'll try this side. Maybe with my credit card I cleaned up. That's better over there. See, I'm not liking those dots. I don't mind maybe a few of them, but not a lot of them. Oh, better up here. Okay, flower. Okay, good. And I know that's clean. I took my lint brush over it. So now, Blackberry Bliss flowers. Try to dry it off this time. Two Blackberry Bliss. Where's that mask? Protect that coral flower. That coral flower, that's the center of the show. Don't want to get blackberry on it. Oh, I was going to do these up higher. Well. Oh, and I didn't get that one stamped good. I don't dare stamp over it. I'm just going to pretend like I planned that. That's just a highlight or something. Okay, and then I'm going to do the in black. You could see the word spelled. I guess that means I'm a visual person. S-E-P-A-L. I'm going to do the sepal. Ooh, that one came out pretty good. And I know from where you are, I'll hold this up close. You're like, that just looks like a big old blob, but it's going to look good. That one came out good. Okay. So at this point, you're probably like, verdict is out. I don't know. Oh, this one, I did do it a little higher. I could do the stems. Oh, I have something to show you about the stems too. The stems, I'll do those in black. Here's a stem. Lining up the stem though, because I had to line up that little bit right there with the bottom of the flower. Good thing it's going to be covered mostly in the card base. Well, that turned out pretty good. Okay, it's not that hard. Okay, not hard at all. And smoky slate leaves. I was going to say something and I forgot. Oh, not this leaf. Oh, I know what it is. The stems. But I'll show you that in a minute. I have a plan. I have a visual. Okay. Maybe to fill up some of this void. Leaf. See, now you don't have much room to write. See, isn't that pretty? Pull off the mask. Voila! It's real pretty. That one I pushed a little harder. Therefore, the gray leaf image is closer to the flower. That one turned out good. Okay, I think it's time to start assembling this. Kind of wish I had more. That's okay. See right here, you could just sign your name. That's all you have to say. Happy birthday. I spent this time making this card for you. That's where the love is. Okay, so I need to connect these. You know, I'm gonna do glue. Just because glue holds really strong. Particularly when building the card, The liquid glue is good. So Jude, you always comment. Let me know if, I think for a while, a few people were having a hard time hearing. Is the hearing, is the audio, is it more clear? And I have all kinds of new lights and a new stand. I hope it's good. Okay, let's build this thing. I'm gonna use the glue. These we'll put on in a minute. First, I'm gonna decorate it with the designer paper. This is all the pieces we have left. We already did these. These are the panels that we just stamped. So we need just these. And I'll put all the paper cut sizes on my blog. As soon as I get the third project done, I'll get over to the computer and type it all in. That's pretty paper. You know, this page, I thought, this gray pattern that we're using today, I thought I'll never use that because to me it kind of looks Halloween and a little spooky. Okay, I guess that's when I would use it, but I really like it here. At first I was putting basic gray cardstock with this. Didn't look good. It was too faint. The black just kind of blends into nothing. It acts as a nice border around the designer paper. Okay, are you thinking, are you going to cover up the hole? But it doesn't. Works just perfect because it has that same little, the perimeter around the outside, like the layers right here. That works perfectly for that slot. Okay, now it's time to build the card. And I'll tell you a whoops I did before I get started so you know not to do the whoops. The whoops I did was I put this front piece on, woohoo, great, up a little bit high so that I could show off the ribbon. Then I put this back piece on, but I had the happy birthday so that I was looking at it and I could see happy birthday. What's wrong with that is where the flower is going to go. I don't want the flowers on the back. So I had to pull it all apart. I think this survived. It's a little bit tattered, but it was all the way dry, and I'm like, oh, just pull it apart. Okay, so this is the front. I can put that on right here. And I'm giving it maybe not a 1/4 inch, not a 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch to hang on so it can stand up tall. So just a little bit, because I want that ribbon to have a place to kind of live and hang out. So right on here. And I'm purposely using liquid glue. First of all, it holds strong, but also I could scooch it around. So right now I'm looking at how much is here. This is shorter. I'm going to scooch it over a little. Okay, that's good. Now make sure that I don't have glue on that part. That's looking good. Okay, so now it's time to do, so see how I have these folded in? Let me make sure you can see that. So there's a slot. These pieces are going to get the glue. But first I'm going to put my little happy birthday, not this way, not this way, backwards, for the back of the card. And that's going to go right in the middle. So if these go like this, it's going to go right there. And just test it. You can see how I'm holding on to this. So if it gets all rolled up, that's where I want it. Back of the card, front of the card. And then I'll stick these together. Okay, right there. That's where I want it. So set that down. Little glue here. Probably should put it on the panel. Right at the bottom. Now those little stitch dots. Okay, now I'm just going to guess, and because it's liquid glue, I could scooch it around. Put it right there. Let me put something under here, because seeing black on black is hard. So can you see that I have the same amount, maybe 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch. I had to have enough for it to hang on strong, but not too much because I wanted to show. Now I'm looking at, is it centered? It really isn't centered. And now I'm looking at the little dots from the die cut. Remember how I said that I made that a little bit bigger? I might just do that. So I'll show you how much I'm cutting off. And I'll show you with this sample. You can see this just a little bit, but your eye mostly sees the flowers and it's not looking at kind of my sloppy cutting right here. So that's all that I cut off. Just making it a little bit bigger. I probably could find a bigger die. But see right there, I cut off maybe an extra 1/4 of an inch. And it's not pretty, but it's not bad either. Okay, so now we have our card. Before I assemble it, I'm going to make sure that everything is in the right place, because I could still kind of pull it apart. This piece is going to tuck into the slot. They're tucking into the slot. And then this piece is going to curve down. So now we have the box. So that's right. And this is on the back. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of pull it apart and put glue right in here. So all this gets glue. Especially right here at this folded piece. See how good I glued this? That's what I was pulling apart when I did the whoops. It's like, oh my gosh, get it apart. Okay, so tuck it in. And put these together. It's really not hard. I might have over described it, but after you have all your pieces, you have them scored, you're like, oh, I see how that goes together. Okay, just dry. I'm going to check one more time. Good. Waiting for decorations. Good. Yeah, being up higher is better. Okay, so now, next step is the flowers. Which is fun. Okay, dry. Okay, so for the flowers, I have just a 1/2 sheet of paper, which is more than enough. And these are the things you'll need to stamp. 3 gray leaves, or 2 gray leaves, 3 miscellaneous flowers, and I call them miscellaneous because there's 2 styles, and 3 curry sprigs. And you don't have to stamp the stems. What? The stems? There's a die. So I took the die to cut the stems. It's like, how am I going to line that up? And I'm like, this is straighter, and then straighter than the stamp. I'm like, well, look how fine it is. I'll just cut it out of black. Excuse me. So that worked out well. Just a minute. So on this paper, there's plenty of room to stamp all this. That's embarrassing. I know I'm not sick because I did my shots. I did 3 at one time. That led for a couple of rough days, but today is a good day. Isn't that pretty? Can you see how pretty that is? Amazing. I love distinctive stamps. Okay, so 2 gray leaves. Where's my cheat sheet? 3 miscellaneous flowers. So this one has 2 coral flowers, kind of like the half view, and 1 blackberry bliss full view. So let's do this one opposite. So this one, blackberry. Let's do 2 of these. I think it might be better if you don't push quite as hard. And I say that because I know I cleaned all the lint and every little bit off of the pad. This one I pushed regular hard. This one I did just a little bit lighter, and I think it came out clear. It doesn't have these blobs in it. So just play around with your stamp. Okay, and then a coral. 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 Ooh, pretty. And then curry. Curry is probably what makes the whole thing look a little fallish. Every sample, when I was pulling papers and ideas for the 3 projects, everything was in Lost Lagoon, blue, navy. It's like, you guys are going to get tired of me always using those colors. So this one is not. It's still pretty. Okay, and then there's dies to cut out everything. Don't you just love that? Okay, so I've cut those out. And the stem. These papers, because I have 3 flowers, I'm going to cut out 3 stems. If you could find a way to squeeze out more flowers onto the card, have at it. I think it'd be beautiful. I couldn't figure it out. Look at these cute little stems. Adorable, huh? They're perfect. Okay, oh, my paper, it's messy. Hold on. See if this works. If it doesn't, I'm getting a new paper. That's a little better. Okay, so to build the card, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal to put a little bit of adhesive on these to stick them on here, just temporarily. Eventually I'll put liquid glue under it, but before they're permanently on there, I'm going to make sure that they'll slide down into the little pocket so we could get this into an envelope. And that's one thing. Another thing is, this is 4 1/4. We have to make sure that the flowers don't go higher when it's folded up than 5 1/2, because that's how big our envelopes are. So these curry sprigs, those will go last. I think the leaves could go first. Oh, we have to put that bow on there too. Or it's just a knot. Oh, and another thing is, when you're stamping your flowers, if you do a whoops and you flip the paper over and you stamp it again, if you do that, try to have those stamped a second time, lower on here. For instance, this coral flower, I didn't like it the first time because I pushed too hard. So I flipped it over, and on the back of this flower is stamped. If I had stamping back here that was a mess, that would be a problem. It would just look very confusing. Kind of like how this one flower is. You could see the stem all by itself. Maybe I'll try to do that. Okay, so let's start with just a little adhesive. And I'm talking 1/4 of an inch. Just something so I could take, if I stick it down, I could kind of twist it off. It's like a temporary hold. I could find temporary adhesive, but this will work fine. Okay, so I'm thinking it'd be nice to have leaves up here, and this one just to have leaves in the bottom. I think that would be a nice place to have leaves. This one doesn't fit. Can you see how when it's trying to go in there, it's hanging up? Therefore, it needs to be scooched a little bit. So see what I mean about the temporary hold? Oop, did I smush it down? Okay, that one is good. Ooh, okay, we're looking good. This one is hanging up. See, standing up. Oh, it's really close. I'll just give it a little bit of a scooch. Okay, so we're good. Should I stick those down? I'm gonna stick them down with glue. And I'm just gonna stick down the bottom part of them because I wanna put some dimensionals. Maybe not so much here. The flowers will be half glue, half dimensionals. And before this dries too much, I'm going to make sure it will still fit into the slot. Okay. So, good. Oh, good shape. Okay, so now the flowers. So, because there's 3 of them, I'm thinking the coral one needs to be in the middle. So, looking at this, there's a gap over here. It's kind of hard to see. There you go. There's a gap here, so that one could be coral. Oh, I should put sticky on them. Temporary hold. Oh, you know what though? I didn't put my sprigs on these. That little sepal. Well, let's see if I could fix it. Will this come up? There it is. You probably knew that. You're like, what about the flower center? And do I need to put it on this full flower? Because you're looking like at the center. Then I thought, well, that could be like the, oh, I don't know flower parts, y'all. I'm sorry. You know, the pollinator thingy. Maybe that's the sepal. The flower center. With all the cute stuff in it. I'll take, because that's a little sticky, I'll take alcohol. Okay, how about right about there? Still fits in the slot. I think making the slot bigger, because this sure is going together better than my first one. I was taking it apart time after time and kind of getting a little frustrated. Oh, now that one won't go. The coral, it's like it's sticking out too far. There. Now it's shorter than this smoky slate leaf. Oh, that's fine. And then the final one, oh, we have to decorate this still too. That could go. And I kind of want the center of the flower to show because I love those cute little stems. Okay, so, oh, it works. Okay, so success. Oh, could you imagine this sitting on your table at home or on the kitchen counter every time you walk in, wishing you all the happiness in the world? Happy birthday! If anyone were to throw this card away, that's bad. Oh, does this one need a stem? I'm going to pretend like I didn't notice that. Okay, so it all works. Oh, this one I keep twisting around. Try it again. Hold on. If I'd stop dinking around with it, huh? Put it on. Just leave it. Okay, it works. So now that I know the placement, okay, the placement is good. So I'm going to use liquid glue at the bottom of the flowers and then maybe pop up the tips of them with dimensionals. So it's not going to be all that precise. I know it's hard to see with this thing in the way. So I'm just going to put a glob of glue, and that's probably all it takes to hold it. The dimensional will help it out. I'm doing a little glob over on this side. Okay, so that one, make sure. It still works. Okay, dry Blackberry Bliss. Now, coral, lift it up, a little bit of glue here. It's probably an easier way to do this, but it's kind of a shame to cover up all of those pretty little. Oh, remember on the sample how this one is sticking like way up and you could see the stem, and it's kind of, let's do that somehow. Maybe you could go over here, but that leaves that big old gap. How about just like that? Oh, another thing is I have to check the height. Okay, well, you tuck into there, good. Now on my ruler, can only be 5.5 inches. And it is 5 1/4. Woohoo! I could even make it taller. I'm not going to. Oh, maybe a little taller. I'm pushing it now. Okay, and this one will get liquid glue. Okay, that one got lots of liquid glue. Okay, too much liquid glue. Looking good. Oh, we have to do the curry things too. The curry. This past weekend, Kathy and I, Tony's sister, we went out. Oh, and I want to do dimensionals too. I'll do dimensionals first. We went, well, first of all, it started out saying, I need an extra set of white pillowcases. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, go ahead and get them. That's what I was saying in my head, but I didn't say that. I'm like, okay. And she goes, and then while we're at it, let's stop at Trader Joe's. Oh, I always like that. Bought way too much. And then I said, well, while we're at it, there's a few places I sell my cards. And I said, can we do some card refreshes? Okay. So the day turned into starting at 9 o'clock. We didn't get home until 4:30. And we went everywhere, including this shop that Michaela, my daughter-in-law, she went to get canning stuff. Okay, so right now I'm putting dimensionals just on the top part of the flower because the bottom part of each of the flower is glued down. I won't be able to do anything with that top one. This place was, first you walk in and Kathy has fiesta wear. They had everything there. She was in heaven. She goes, oh, I have that color, I have that color. Oh, these plates are the great. Oh, I could use the smaller ones. They had water pitchers. They had serving dishes, everything. She was in heaven. And we even had to put more time on the meter. But we had a good time. And at first when we went in there, they had these coffee mugs with this owl on it. And it was like, oh, those are really cute. And she's like, oh, Elspeth, she collects owls. She would love this. And everywhere we looked, there was more to see. And finally I said, Kathy, I have to take this slow. There's a lot to look at. Is it okay if we go to the right, everywhere to the right in the store, and we'll make our way around the whole store? Okay. We were there for the longest time. Out in the back, they had this garden area. They had beekeeping stuff, which I know Evan and Michaela would love to be doing. Because Michaela made mead. Anyhow, what a day. It was like exhausting. I don't know what got me started. Curry. Across the street, after we got done with all that, was this little food truck. And they had Thai food. And I like Thai food. And I got yellow curry. It was good. It was really good. She tried a Thai iced tea for the first time. And she liked it at first. She said light on the coconut milk. Oh, I just smeared that. Because I touched something. It's probably that darn Blackberry Bliss. It's coming off. But she said light on the coconut milk. Because they're like, do you want condensed cream or do you want coconut milk? She said coconut milk. So it was mostly whatever the flavoring is. But she got through about half of it. She liked it at first, but then it was just a little bit too strong. Okay. That curry one, it's all the way off now. Try that again. See, I was talking about curry. Yellow curry. I like yellow curry. I don't know that I've even tried the other curries. I need to concentrate. Home Goods was packed. TJ Maxx Home Goods. In Sacramento, they were not smushed all into one. Ooh, that's pretty. I don't want to cover up too much of the gray leaves. I like the gray leaves. But I have to stay in bounds. I have to stay in 5.5 inches. Here I am making a bouquet. Oh, while we're at that place, I should know the name of it. The gardening section out in the back, they had 40% off those pots, like the clay pots that are glazed and everything. Beautiful pots. Got 2 new pots, and they look great. Tony already filled them up. I told Kathy she was a bad influence, because whenever she's around, I buy too much. She says, oh, well, you're just impressionable, or she said something like that. She goes, I stuck right to what was on the plan. She did, almost. Trader Joe's, their lasagna in the freezer section, oh, that's so good. She did try that. Then they had, okay, I guess I'm getting hungry. They had butternut squash mac and cheese. And she goes, oh, my neighbor told me about that. We had to try that. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm going to put dimensionals on the curry pieces in just a minute. But I'll do the stems first. I might have to cut off the stems. They're too long. And then when we went to the register, the guy at the register said, "Have you tried this? It is so good." Kathy goes, "No, do we need to get another one?" He says, "Well, it's good while supplies last, or probably through the season." We're like, "Well, what does that mean?" And he says, "Probably through the end of November, as long as we could still get it from the maker." I'm like, oh. My little handy, I love these things. These are in the catalog with the embossing toolkit. Goes right there to the center. Isn't that cool looking? Oh, I have glue on the back of this Blackberry Bliss flower, the Stampin' Seal. This one, coral, you can't even tell because I covered up where the stem would come from. Unless I put it in front of the... No, that one you can hardly tell either. Okay, I used 2 half stems. Here's my little handy tweezers. Ooh, that's way down there. How am I going to do that? It's kind of black on black. Okay, I'll stick the first part of it. Then, because it has glue on it, I'm just going to smooch it around. Yeah. That worked. You can hardly tell. This one, I don't think, if I put a stem on it, I don't think you'd be able to tell on the coral one. Okay. Whole extra stem. And now, 2 extra stems. I'm looking for my little green pin because with liquid glue you need a stainless steel pin, and I have a whole bunch of them. I don't know where it went though. Okay, new pin. Okay, let's carry on. This is looking good. So now a few dimensionals on the back of the curry. Someone will like these. Someone will get these. So we go here. This one doesn't get any. This one does. Boy, that's a big old tower. I made it. I hope it's still good. Five and a half? Yeah, it's still fine. You know what's hanging up is because I put them on with dimensionals. But once you get it open, you just keep it open. You just keep it enjoying that prettiness. It's hanging up on this flower. Well, then I'll stick it down better. Okay, now we need to add the sparkles. I know this is taking too long. It's almost done. After the sparkles and the ribbon is on, we're set. You know how I put that temporary adhesive on? Right in the wrong spot. Adhesive remover, gotta love this. And if ever you don't have the patience to use your adhesive remover to get it off, you could use your embossing buddy and that would just take all the stick out of it. Like just take your embossing button and go plop, plop, plop. But because I've kind of got this adhesive discolored, I really want it off. I want it off of there. Okay, looking good. And those are stuck down. Okay, bling and ribbon. Ooh, look at that laying back. Now you could really see it. It is kind of a column though, but I don't know how to get around that. Glue. Okay. Ribbon. Pretty ribbon, and it's just in a knot. This is called sheer ribbon. It's sheerly beautiful. Shirley. And then the sparkle gems. Sparkle gems are a little expensive, but they are certainly beautiful. Okay, there it is. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to clean up the ends of the ribbon, put a glue dot right underneath. So the glue dot, I'm going to fold it over once, just because that knot on the ribbon is not that big. Okay, I folded it over a lot. Okay, it could stay right in place. And then clean up the ends of the ribbon. A little angled cut. Still hanging up right there. I'm going to put more glue and just let it sit and wait. It's probably because I have that dimensional on there. Okay, so sparkles. Silver sparkles. So I'll do 2 big ones and 1 little one. And I'm going to put them on the gray. I don't know, you could probably put them anywhere. Last time I had them down too low. So last time I did one right there, and then 2 up here. Okay, 1 little one. Okay, we did it. Isn't that pretty? One part. I need to work on that. I'm going to glue it and squeeze it so it doesn't keep hanging up. But there, it fits in the envelope. Imagine getting this, opening it up. It's pretty. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.